The issue is your health. I am Dr. Mike Smith, and on today's show, I have my good friend Suzanne Somers, and she's going to talk about her new book, I'm Too Young for This. But first, in the news. The results of a double-blinded trial published in the Singapore Medical Journal show positive effects for the omega-3 fatty acid EPA in overweight and type 2 diabetics. 76 men and women who were overweight and had type 2 diabetes received 2 grams of EPA or a corn oil placebo daily for 12 weeks. Blood samples were collected before and after treatment, and they were analyzed for hemoglobin A1C, which is a marker of long-term glucose control, fasting plasma glucose, and fasting serum insulin. While plasma glucose, hemoglobin A1C, and serum insulin levels all increased in the control group by the end of the study, they all declined by 11%, 8%, and 3% respectively in those who received EPA. Insulin resistance also improved among those taking EPA. An article was published in the Journal of Nutrition showing a lower risk of mortality for coffee and tea drinkers over an 11-year average follow-up period. A 7% reduction in mortality was seen for each additional cup of coffee ingested per day. That's good for me because I like coffee. Additionally, a 9% decreased risk of mortality was seen for each increased cup of tea per day. Coming up next, Suzanne Somers. Stay tuned.
Wouldn't it be great if nature could give you everything you need? But it can't, and Symptom won't. So take Life Extension's 2 per day multivitamins, up to 50 times more potent than Centrum Silver Adults 50 Plus.
So if you're a woman in, say, between your 30s and 40s, your body is changing. And sometimes those changes can produce symptoms. You know, stress-related symptoms, mood issues, even weight gain. But you know, you can still enjoy this time of life if you know what to do. And my guest, boy, does she know what to do. She's my good, wonderful friend, Suzanne Somers. And she just wrote a book. I love the title, I'm Too Young for This. Suzanne, welcome to the show.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm good. You know, I have 3 sisters. I don't know if I ever told you that. And they're going to relate to this book because they are going through everything you talk about, which of course is perimenopause. So let's start there. What exactly is perimenopause?
Well, perimenopause is a phase that usually when a woman goes to a doctor complaining about what are actually symptoms, it's dismissed like, and I remember it happening to me, the doctor saying, oh, you're probably in perimenopause. It's such a serious phase that a woman goes through that needs to be understood, because if they understand what you just said about how good you can feel,
right,
they will be able to sail through this transition, sail through menopause, and enjoy aging like I am. So perimenopause is the first phase of a woman beginning to decline in hormones. She's still making some, but not enough.
But they're starting to drop off a little bit. Yeah.
Right.
What are some of the complaints then that are common for women in this age group experiencing some of the loss of those hormones?
Well, one of the big ones is, I don't know, I'm having so much trouble sleeping, and I'll say, well, it's your hormones. No, I'm too young for this.
Right, right.
Oh my gosh, my stomach is so bloated all the time, it doesn't matter what I eat. And I'll say, well, it's your hormones. No, I'm too young for this. And then the other women, and I've had this with TV interviewers who are in their 30s. I remember one woman, 32, took me aside. She said, I just have no sex drive. I feel so terrible. I love my husband so much, but I just can't feel anything. And I said, well, you don't have any or sufficient sex hormones, so how are you supposed to feel sex? So think of all the women that go through life not enjoying, maybe participating, but not enjoying because of a simple thing like restoring estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone as determined by their blood work, individualized just for them.
Right.
And you and I have talked about this.
We sure have, yep.
A sexual person is a healthy person.
Right.
When you're sexual, that's the brain saying, okay, all is well. Because the brain just wants people to be reproductive,
right,
whether that's your goal or not.
But that is a sign of health. It really is. Now, so we know the importance of bioidentical hormone replacement. You know, as you said, we've talked about it before, and I know that you have a website, foreverhealth.com, where people can go to, women can get, connected with physicians who specialize in this. But Suzanne, in your book, you mentioned something else. You talk about hidden factors that may be keeping some women symptomatic? Are there things beyond hormones here that also are playing a role?
You know, it sounds like a broken record. Diet and exercise, the thoughts you think are all complicit in this phase called perimenopause.
Right.
If you're eating chemical-laden food and you are nutrient deficient and you are vitamin deficient, your body's not going to be working as well, and it's going to accelerate the language of perimenopause, which, you know, I always refer to the seven dwarves of
right. I love this.
Itchy, bitchy, sleepy, sweaty, bloated, forgetful,
right.
and all dried up. And I've made them humorous so that women can understand that these symptoms are a language. You know, itching is a language. That was one of my big languages. Why is my leg itching so much? It's driving me crazy. It was hormones. It's my brain saying it's not, all is not well. We're missing something that you used to have that made you feel perfect all the time. And that is the goal, to feel perfect. And you and I both know it's possible. You're younger than I am, but at my age, I'm 66, I feel perfect all the time.
Right,
It's,
and I can
it's
attest
like a miracle.
I can attest to that. I've worked with you. You have more energy than I think I have, to be honest with you, Suzanne, and that's awesome. Now, I want to go on to something else here. In your book, you talk about perimenopausal power foods. Can you explain what that is? Are these foods that we should avoid or foods that we should be eating? So which way does it go with those?
For sure, foods that you should be eating. Women feel that to lose the weight they're gaining because they are declining in hormones, that they have to eat seeds and grass, and it's a life of denial, and right. I can't. What I'm saying is rethink food. Eat real food, and I can get specific about what real food, but eat real food. I say if you can pick it, pluck it, milk it, or shoot it, you can eat it.
That's good. I like that.
And then avoid genetically modified food.
Right.
Which in my opinion, is the worst thing that's ever happened to humanity. And then, you know, spend your money on high quality food, organic food. It's going to make such a difference in the long run, because the idea of eating food that is coated with poisons, that's been grown with herbicide in it, that's genetically modified, is not going to be able to give your body the proper fuel.
Right.
So, you know, I eat great. I eat butter, cream, sour cream, olive oil, full-fat cream cheese, but organic, because
and that's the key,
all
right?
All the junk that they put into non-organic butter, cream, sour cream, olive oil. I eat meat, but it's grass-fed, which is natural evolution. Yeah. Organic chicken. I eat a lot of kale. I grow a lot of my own food. If you have the luxury of even a planter box outside your window, growing something makes you feel accomplished. And I can't describe the feeling, and a lot of people know this, of cutting a cauliflower, bringing it straight to the kitchen, and making that your meal, along with, you know, a great chicken piccata with lemon butter wine reduction sauce and some beautiful, I don't know, quinoa pilaf. Right. That's a great dinner, and that's all nutritious, life-sustaining food and hormone-maintaining food.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I don't have a green thumb, but I was so proud of myself, Suzanne. I grew my own tomatoes, and they were awesome. They tasted great, and I felt like I accomplished something, even though I just planted the seeds and watered them, right? But I felt good about it, and it was good for me. So I think that's good advice. In your book, you also have something I think that a lot of readers like my sisters are going to enjoy. It's a symptom solver. What exactly is that? Because
there are things that happen to our bodies I wish I had known when I was back then. And I believe this perimenopause is 35, sometimes shockingly younger. 25 women are reporting in declining hormones.
I agree.
50, but maybe even, you know, longer. I have one member of my family who's 52, swears and she doesn't need hormones. Well, that's a whole long story. But symptom solvers are a symptom that I had before I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Painful, swollen breasts, fibrocystic breasts. I didn't know what that meant. All I knew was that I was always like, my breasts were painful, too painful to even touch. Now, why didn't I think of that as a language? And what I realized, and what I explain in this book, is that most women decline in progesterone first.
Okay.
And so they
right.
become what's called estrogen dominant. But if you go to an unqualified doctor, that's why foreverhealth.com is so important. These are qualified doctors. An unqualified doctor is not going to understand that what you're declining in is progesterone. So they say you can't have hormones because you're estrogen dominant. I've heard this over and over. Women say to me, oh, I can't take hormones. Why? Because I'm estrogen dominant.
Right.
And I say, you're estrogen dominant simply means you need more progesterone to balance the ratio.
Right.
So swollen breasts, polycystic ovary disease is most often hormonal, and women are suffering from this. Bladder infections, yeast infections. Women who are declining in hormones, who are not eating right, get candida in their gut. And so what's great about I'm Too Young for This, the name of my book, is I've been there. I didn't get it when I was that age.
Right.
I did get cancer. I truly believe, Mike, if women read this, that they can do more for preventing cancer than anything that they're aware of, because all the information is in here, including the efficacy, which Life Extension helped me with so much to be sure everything was validated and verified, of all the tests that have been conducted on the safety and efficacy of bioidentical hormones.
Right. Yeah, so I'm Too Young for This can be purchased, I know, at just about every major retail store, but it's also available at lifeextension.com. It's a wonderful weed. I cannot wait to get this to my sisters. They're going to love it. Suzanne, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Always a pleasure, Mike, and you're doing such good work, and I can't wait for your book to come out.
Yeah, we're getting excited for that, getting ready for it. So thanks for coming on. Yeah, when we come back, As I See It. Stay tuned.
You know that CoQ10 is essential for heart health. You know that low-dose aspirin helps prevent heart attacks. And you know that the omega-3s in fish oil may reduce the risk of heart disease. What you may not know is that you know all of this because of Life Extension. It's the power of science, the power of life, the power of Life Extension.
As I see it, if you're a woman between 30 and 40, your body is changing, specifically your hormones. And you're not too young to develop symptoms, but you don't have to suffer through the symptoms if you know what to do. I suggest you read Suzanne's latest book, I'm Too Young for This, available at all retail bookstores and at Life Extension. For more information, call 1-800-333-2562 or visit www.lef.org/videomag. For The Issue Is Your Health, I'm Dr. Mike.